Welcome to our latest installment of Sam and Connor talking about football, specifically daily fantasy today.
Hey, Connor.
Hi, Sam.
How are we doing today?
Pretty banging. We've got both of us in the house and also a guest today. We got Tommy Falgren sitting in as well. We're going to have him on later. So right now we're going to discuss our daily fantasy lineups here. Sam, how about you go through yours first? Just run down the list.
Yeah, this week picking Sam Darnold. He's not a fluke. Showed the real deal on Monday Night Football. Kid's got a hose for an arm. So getting him cheap, $5,100, saving some money there. Running back, Alvin Kamara. Big spender there. Playing Cleveland, bad defense. Even if the Browns do put their testicles in the C gap, not stopping Alvin Kamara. Adrian Peterson, the wily veteran, playing for the Redskins. Gonna have another week. Almost went for a hundo last week. No stopping him. The timeless vet. And we got Randall Cobb, the receiving end of the 75-yard busted play to beat the Bears. He's gonna repeat again. Unless Aaron Rodgers doesn't play. So yeah, it might drop him. Then we got Josh Gordon. It's gonna be a shootout in New Orleans. New Orleans can't play defense. Saw that last week with Ryan Fitzpatrick going for 1 million points. So Josh Gordon going to score a couple more tutties. So yeah, he's good. Only $5,800. Not spending a lot of money to get him either. Then the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. He's fast. Makes a lot of plays. Every other highlight that you saw from that Chiefs-Chargers game was Tyreek Hill. It looks like I got O.J. Howard in here. I think that's a mistake, but we're going to roll with it. Playing the Eagles, getting him cheap, $3,200, save some money. Ryan Fitzpatrick, another wily veteran. O.J. Howard's going to probably score a lot of points because I didn't mean to pick him. Good strategy. Don't think about who you pick, just pick. We got Jarvis Landry. Same rationale for... I guess I got two Cleveland receivers, huh? Same rationale. New Orleans got no D. Ryan Fitzpatrick lit him up, so he's gonna
stack.
So running the Cleveland stack. Not getting Tyrod Taylor. And the Lions defense. I think Jimmy Garoppolo got pantsed last week by the Vikings. So I think Jimmy G's a fraud. Lions gonna score a lot of defensive points. So Connor, you got any? You agree 100%, right?
I actually agree on more than you think. Our lineups don't match up totally here. I do also have Randall Cobb because I think that he did kind of light it up in the last game here, and he sort of demonstrated that his market share here on the Packers receiving core is going to be considerably higher than it's been in the past. With the removal of Jordy Nelson, he got a lot of targets last week. And he's due for a favorable matchup versus rookie cornerback Mike Hughes / Trey Waynes against the Vikings here. So large workload with the favorable matchup. I have him in there at $4,600 as well. Couple of things, I guess, to try to draw some comparisons here. I've Ben Roethlisberger and let's see here, Antonio Brown. Because I think that game's going to be a shootout. You had Tyreek Hill, the Kansas City Chiefs.
They're playing Chiefs
Steelers.
Chiefs Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I tell you, man, I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Ben Roethlisberger was bad last week, man. They're playing the Browns. I don't think anybody thinks the Browns are good.
No, I agree.
But
play like ass.
Yeah, but I don't know. Bounce back game.
Yeah, I think he is due for a bounce-back game. It'll definitely be telling of the rest of his career here if he doesn't have a bounce-back game. I think if he doesn't have a bounce-back game, it could mean the end of Big Ben and the beginning of the Mason Rudolph era in Pittsburgh. But
pump the brakes there, guy.
Yeah.
I don't know all about that.
Well, okay, but Ben Roethlisberger has the biggest differential between playing home and away in terms of performance as a quarterback. For all the starting quarterbacks in the league right now, he is the guy that will just perform like garbage away, but he'll knock your socks off at home.
That's a good point.
In addition to that, he is playing. Cleveland is. They're not. I don't know. They're Cleveland. But their defensive backs are, I'd argue that they're better than the Chiefs this year. The Chiefs' defensive back core is pretty fucking terrible this year without Marcus Peters and Eric Berry sidelined with injury. Eric Berry won't be playing in this game. They announced today, I think. The Chiefs allowed 424 yards and 3 touchdowns from the Chargers last week. Phillip Rivers kind of threw all over them. And in addition to that, Antonio Brown is getting paired up against Steven Nelson and Orlando Scandrick for the game. And according to PFF, it's the second most favorable wide receiver cornerback matchup out of every single wide receiver starting this coming week. He's only bested by Julio Jones. I think he's paired up with I don't know. I forgot who he's paired up with. He's paired up with a second string guy, though.
They playing the Dolphins this week?
I think so. I don't know, actually. No idea.
All right, yeah.
Don't have anybody.
They're definitely playing the Dolphins.
Definitely don't have anybody from Atlanta in my lineup. So
Matt Ryan looked bad.
Yeah, he was pretty bad. That combined with the over-under at plus 53, I think it's going to be pass-heavy game, back and forth. Both of their defensive backs, like Pittsburgh and the Chiefs, are pretty not good. Joe Hayden's out for Pittsburgh, which means that Tyreek Hill's probably going to run, train all over Pittsburgh. So
you're expecting a high-scoring game here.
Yeah, I had a really tough time actually picking who to stack between Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, or Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. I think I actually had Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill on my first lineup, and I switched it. I'm just not sold on Pat Mahomes, man. I don't know. He played really well this last week, but
got a hose.
He's I don't know. He could be really good. He probably is gonna be really good this year, and I'm just saying it because I'm superstitious. But
yeah, I mean, well, you also got James. Looks like you got James Conner here in your lineup. So you're really double, tripling down there on the running the Steelers stack.
Yeah, well, James Conner, because his value at $6,700, definitely still a lot of value there. In the first game that he played, he had 36 touches. Which is, full 3-down back volume. He was on the field for 77 out of the 84 offensive snaps against the Browns. Stephen Ridley and Jalen Samuels, the backups to James Conner right now, they both logged 0 last week. So I'm expecting another dose of heavy volume for James Conner, just because it looks like they're not going to run anybody else in that offense. And at that value for $6,700, I'm not sure he's going to have the blowout game that he had against the Browns, but I think it's still going to be there. I don't think anybody's going to step in to replace him for any of that market share. So just for that sake, I think there's a lot of value to be had at $6,700 and 36 touches a game. Probably not going to be that high because it probably won't go into OT, but we'll see. So moving on from there, I got Chris Thompson.
You're flying in the face. You don't like my Adrian Peterson pick.
I actually also had Adrian Peterson when I first drafted this lineup. So Adrian Peterson is, I think he's like 5,600, 5,500. I think he's 5,500. So just under Chris Thompson. So I went with Chris Thompson because he played really well last week, but I think Adrian Peterson had those games when he played for the Cardinals as well. And, looked real good out there, but then old father time caught up with him, and he kind of played a little slower.
He got hurt.
He did get hurt. I don't know. There's no real reason to, believe that Adrian Peterson's going to slow down this next week, but I think I put Chris Thompson because Joe Mixon, he netted over 100 yards against the Colts, and that's who the Redskins are playing this next week. And largely a lot of those yards were from passes out of the backfield. And that's something that Chris Thompson does quite a bit more than Adrian Peterson. So although Adrian Peterson got a lot more carries, substantially more carries than Chris Thompson handled a lot of the pass-catching duties in previous years as well with the Redskins. And even though Adrian Peterson did a lot of that this last week, I think that's going to slow down a little bit.
Flip the script down in the second half. Just in terms of a game flow.
I think it's going to be a pretty slow game, but a decided game. I think the Redskins are going to come out with a win on this one. But if last week told me anything about the Redskins, it's that they're going to run a more old school style offense here with Alex Smith at the helm. It didn't really look like he was taking very many shots down the field. Paul Richardson, Jamison Crowder there.
Call him a game manager.
Kinda. But it was slow but steady football. I think it's going to be more of the same this week rather. And I think, they saw that Joe Mixon was able to exploit a lot of the Colts' deficiencies with throws out of the backfield there to him. And I think that they're going to just use that a little bit more advantageously than running smash mouth football with Adrian Peterson necessarily.
Yeah, I just realized this now thinking about it. Man, what an interesting team this is that has quarterback Alex Smith, running back Adrian Peterson, coached by a Gruden, albeit not John Gruden, but Jay Gruden. But this is a total, 2010 lineup.
Do we still have Virgil Green?
I don't know.
Man, what an all-star lineup from 2012.
All they need is Deshaun Jackson on that team, or I don't know who's another. Oh, get him Antonio Gates too. He's still playing, that old fossil.
38 years old. 38. Old as fuck, man. I'm scary though. Did you see what happened to Delaney Walker last week? Oh man, dude,
Did he break his ankle or tear his ACL?
Yeah, his ankle just exploded. It looked pretty bad. So man, just don't want that to happen to Antonio Gates. 38 years old, just crumbles into dust in the end zone. I don't think so. I don't think he will. But anyway, moving on here. We talked about Randall Cobb. I got Demaryius Thomas.
Sorry, just to go back to Randall Cobb for a second. I am going to sell very, very quickly if we get an update on Aaron Rodgers' injury. If he's not playing.
Yep.
If Aaron Rodgers doesn't play.
Yep. It looks like Aaron Rodgers was going to play, though.
Channeling the spirit of his former mentor, Brett Favre.
Channeling the spirits of Toradol and Brett Favre. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll sort of pump the brakes, I guess, on Randall Cobb. Moving on, though, to Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas at $5,600. He was slightly overshadowed by Emmanuel Sanders in week 1. Not slightly, he was considerably overshadowed by Emmanuel Sanders. So I think a lot of people aren't necessarily considering him as a legitimate wide receiver matchup this week for some reason, even though he had 9 receptions and a touchdown and netted somewhere around 60 to 70 yards. Had a solid outing still, and his price actually went down in DraftKings. And I think it's because a lot of people are going to be picking up Emmanuel Sanders instead of Demaryius Thomas. However, Demaryius Thomas has a matchup against Rashaan Melvin. Rashaan Melvin played on the Colts secondary last year, the 2017 Colts secondary that was just god-awful. I don't remember where they ended up, but they were not good. They allowed a lot of passing yards. So he's going up against Rashaan Melvin. And the Raiders in general just had a tough time locking up multiple quality receiving options from the Los Angeles Rams last week. Nobody had a monstrous game except for Todd Gurley on that offense. But Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Brandon Cooks, they all had pretty, not mediocre, but they all did just all right. I think they all got around 10 to 15 fantasy points between each other. So I'm expecting a lot of the same, but for this Broncos offense, I'm expecting Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas to get a lot of attention from Case Keenum there. So I put him in my lineup. At tight end, I got George Kittle. Sam doesn't have very many nice things to say about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Trash.
Yeah, he thinks he's trash. I don't know. I'm not sold on Jimmy G quite yet, but I think George Kittle had a great game against a Minnesota secondary that was real tough. He had 5 receptions for 90 yards and also a score. So I'm expecting him to live up to the expectations that he set for himself last week. And I'm expecting a higher percentage of targets, actually, because Marquise Goodwin went down with an injury last week, and it looks like he's not going to be coming back this week. So George Kittle there at $3,800, a lot of value again.
I agree 100% with that. That's definitely a good value for as productive as George Kittle was playing. Who are they playing this week?
Detroit.
Yeah, okay, so a worse defense, and I don't think it matters who they're playing. They're not playing as good of a defense as Minnesota.
Yeah, but especially Detroit that just let up 48 points to Sam Darnold and
Darnold.
the Crow. I looked at the stats for that because I was doing research for this. Man, Isaiah Crowell ran for like over 100 yards.
Yeah, dude had a game.
He was really good.
Jets are for real.
The Crow's back.
I think Tom Brady's past his prime. I think it's going to be the Jets division now for the next 20 years.
Yeah, I think so.
You heard it here first.
So that's George Kittle. My flex, I got Antonio Brown at $8,800. We pretty much already talked about all the reasons for having Antonio Brown there. I picked him over Tyreek Hill just because of his matchup mostly against Steven Nelson and / Orlando Scandrick. I think he's going to get a ton of attention. I think that who is it? Kendall Fuller, maybe? I think he got traded from the Redskins. I think he's supposed to be on Juju Smith-Schuster. So originally in my first lineup, I think I had Tyreek Hill and Juju Smith-Schuster, but Juju might get stifled a little bit because Kendall Fuller is actually good.
And then I played Tyreek Hill, and I think one of the justifications, you're making great points here with the matchup. And just one other thing to consider, Antonio Brown is probably going to only get you points from receiving. Tyreek Hill, yeah, he'll get you receiving yards, but he's also very much involved in the run game. Very much a versatile player. If he breaks another punt return touchdown, there's points there. So I guess for me, valuing versatility and getting you points in multiple different ways from the wide receiver position, I guess you could make a similar argument for Chris Thompson being a better PPR player than me picking Adrian Peterson, but I don't always follow my own rules.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Tyreek Hill, he's probably going to return a fucking punt for a touchdown. Probably will. I don't know. Yeah, it was really funny, actually. I was listening to Pat McAfee talk about that, and Pat McAfee doesn't like that he returns punts. He hates it.
Why?
Because he's like, man, this dude is such a monster on these returns, but Jesus Christ, if he ever gets injured on one of these things, like, what a fucking mess.
He's so fast, though. It doesn't matter. He can outrun his injury.
Yeah, so anyway, it's got Antonio Brown. And then for my defense, special teams, I got the Bears at 2,800.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. This was sort of a tough pick. I had the Chargers at first because they're playing against Buffalo.
That's also a great pick.
They were a little too expensive, though. They were $3,600. So it was sort of tough to put in better players in the rest of my lineup. And I don't know. They are probably going to get 1,000 points because they're starting Josh Allen for the first time, and Josh Allen's probably going to throw 1,000 picks.
He can't be worse than Nathan Peterman, though.
Can't be worse than Nathan Peterman, but I don't know. They got some quality defensive backs on Los Angeles Chargers.
And this is the same Los Angeles Chargers teams that picked off Nathan Peterman 5 times in one half last year.
Yeah,
don't forget.
Never forget. Peterman can. So we'll see, but I picked the Bears. I think they're a quality pick against Seattle here. Seattle's offensive line is still garbage. The Bears have easily a top 10 run defense. The addition of Khalil Mack was an absolute game changer for the Bears. They dominated the Packers offensive. He dominated the Packers offensive line specifically, and they still posted a quality game. Brian Bulaga still played well.
Yeah, and definitely helped out with the game plan with the adjustment at halftime. A lot short passes. I would expect to see something similar from Seattle, just to try and compensate for how bad they are at blocking.
Yeah, I think so too. So we'll see. I think it depends largely on the Bears' defensive backs. If Kyle Fuller and Prince Amukamara decide that they want to show up and catch some interceptions.
It's not like they had bad games last week against Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is just better.
You can't really do anything against that. I don't know. It's kind of tough. But I don't know. I think that at $2,800, if they can get, if Khalil Mack can force some fumbles, if they can get a pick or two, I think that's a lot of value you can get out of $2,800. So that's my lineup. That's what I got. We'll see what we can do. We're gonna square off here and see where we end up. Last week I took home the W from Mac pretty decidedly.
You had a hell of a week in fantasy or daily fantasy last week.
Had a hell of a week in daily fantasy. Let me pull up the lineup here real quick. A lot of people there that produced just like monster points for me. I know that I had Alvin Kamara on my lineup. I had James Conner. Who else did I have here? Let me pull it up. And you just didn't quite have the players.
No, I did not have. I had a solid regular fantasy lineup, but not a winning daily fantasy lineup.
No, not a winning one. So all right, I had Tyrod Taylor. He had an all right outing. He got me 24.5 points though, compared to Matt Ryan, who netted Sam 9.84 points. Cold. James Conner gave me 38.2 points to Sam's Kenyon Drake that netted him 9.6 points. My Alvin Kamara, he got 46.1 points to Christian McCaffrey, who got 14.5. I had AJ Green, 20.2 points to Sam's Robert Woods at 7.3. I had Chris Hogan, who didn't do much anything, had 2 points.
Good, and they're on all winners.
Yep. Jarvis Landry for Sam got 20.6, so he beat me there.
Mine aren't all losers.
Nope. I had Keelan Cole for 8.4.
Bad pick.
Against Juju Smith-Schuster, who netted him almost 20. Jack Doyle got 12 points somehow. I don't know how. He was pretty awful that game, actually. He definitely fumbled the ball and cost the Colts the game. Apparently he got 12 points, though. I don't think he scored at all. I don't know how he got these points. Against Jimmy Graham, though, who got a meager 2.8.
Same fucking Packers team that signed another tight end and get it going.
Doesn't really do much of anything. And then
Allison one-on-one coverage.
That's right. Yeah, he drew coverage away. I shouldn't say he didn't do anything. He did stuff. Anyway, Odell Beckham Jr. He had a solid outing against Jalen Ramsey. 25 points there against Cooper Kupp, 17.8.
Cooper Cook.
And then we both had Ravens D, 17 points there. So
that was my best pick.
Yeah. No, dude, Jarvis Landry is 20.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, anyway.
Always bet against the Bills.
Always
0-16.
Always bet against the Bills. So anyway, yep, so shooting for another win this week against Sam. Against Sam's garbage picks. Yeah, so that's daily fantasy for you.
So we're going to switch to college football, regular old betting now. We're going to bring in our guest at Tommy Falgren. So Tommy's a good pal of ours. He works for a company and does something. Here's Tommy.
Welcome, Tommy, to the show, everybody.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
We're doing well, Tommy. We're glad to have you on the show.
Tommy, we're gonna go rapid fire here. Just pick a team, any team. All right, we got Temple, Maryland. Who we got?
Temple all the way.
So Temple is 15.5 point underdog. So there's your pick. We got Massachusetts, Florida International.
Florida all the way. Got to go with Florida.
Florida International, -3.5. Good pick. Hawaii Army.
Army, gotta love the troops.
That's a terrible pick.
Bad pick, definitely
Bad
Hawaii.
pick. Yeah, definitely hammer Hawaii. So there you go. There's your.
That's right. You gotta go with the United States of America every time. Hawaii is not.
Hawaii's not a state, is what he said.
All right. Anyway, Kent
That was
State,
fun.
Penn State.
Penn State, Penn State, Penn State.
Penn State favored by 35.5. That's a lot of points. I don't know. Yeah, they're probably gonna cover. How about Troy, Nebraska?
Nebraska.
What are they favored by? 10.
10.
That's it. Just 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bet that right now. Take over.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Nebraska is kind of trash, or Troy's really good. I don't know. Who's to say? All right, Tommy. We got Kansas Rutgers.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna have to go with Kansas on that one.
All right.
Wait, actually,
minus
that's a really-
2.5.
That's actually a really interesting matchup. I like Rutgers on the road.
You think
Kansas
so?
is historically a terrible team,
Dude, Kansas is pretty bad.
and Rutgers is just regular bad.
You gonna take Rutgers?
Yeah, I'm gonna put money on that one too.
Who'd you say?
I went with Kansas. I never go with Rutgers.
That's a good
Never
policy.
go with Rutgers.
It's not bad.
All right, moving on. Moving through. Pittsburgh U versus Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech in this week, definitely against Pittsburgh. Gonna have to go with Georgia.
Yeah. I don't know. They're negative 3.5 there. Probably.
Do we have any? I'm trying to see. Do we have any games here? Any good Hurricane games that we're gonna get a weird result? Any that aren't postponed?
What are you saying?
Is there any games in the middle of the hurricane that aren't postponed that we can bet on? Something weird might happen.
Do you know the path of the hurricane? Do you know where the hurricane's
It's in the
gonna be?
Carolinas or something.
Oh.
Clemson playing at home?
Clemson?
No, I just saw them. They're playing Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern all the way.
32.5.
No, never mind. Well, I don't know. Clemson. Yeah, Clemson.
All right, cool. That'll wrap it up for college football. I think we've just about covered all the important games, it sounds like, except for Wisconsin.
Wisconsin playing BYU. Bet them. I don't know what the spread is, but they're going to cover. Finally.
Definitely going to cover. Definitely going to cover this week. They didn't last week, right?
No, they haven't all season, goddamn.
Haven't all season. So we got minus 23 here, Wisconsin. Yeah, you think so?
This is the week. We're beating the spread.
I'm gonna have to go against my traditional Mormon upbringing, and I'm gonna vote Wisconsin on this one.
Tommy's voting for Wisconsin in this year's election. You heard it here first. Wisconsin, minus 23. Definitely going to win.
Wisconsin to the presidency.
Wisconsin for president.
Put Wisconsin in the White House.
Wisconsin for mayor. Yeah.
Supreme Chancellor.
So anyway, that'll wrap it up, I think, for college football. Well, we have a special matchup this week, though. This real Tiger showdown. We're comparing the top quarterbacks of all time from LSU and the LSU Tigers and the Auburn Tigers.
Tiger battle.
Tiger blood showdown. So here we are. We top two quarterbacks from LSU. What were they, Sam? It was Zach Mettenberger and
some guy I've never heard of, but my number two was Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn. I think he's up there. He's definitely top three. So
He
all
was
right.
definitely number three.
All right, Zach Mettenberger, Matt Flynn versus Cam Newton and who was it?
Zach Mettenberger.
No, for Auburn.
Oh, for Auburn, yeah.
Cam Newton and
Oh,
Mr. Campbell's Chunky Noodle.
Jason Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
Woof.
that's who we're comparing here. Who do you think wins in that shootout? That OK Corral.
Well, you have two national championship quarterbacks, and Cam Newton, very dynamic, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, actually. And versus on the other side, you have Matt Flynn, who won a national championship, BCS title, was also a quality backup to Aaron Rodgers for a few years. Well, based on that, I got to go Auburn, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm going LSU for Matt Flynn. Dude, Matt Flynn
That's a
played
homer
lights
fucking
out. Matt Flynn played lights out when Aaron Rodgers was out, and that was at
That's 2011. They were 14-1. Last
no,
week
not 2011. It was,
it was.
no. He might have been. He might have also played then, but
That's
it was
the game
when
he had
we.
7 touchdowns.
Oh, maybe it was that game.
Yeah, it was the last week of the season playing.
Oh,
the
you know,
Lions.
it was that.
He also played pretty good in 2010 during the Super Bowl year. Almost beat the Patriots, so that's like half a win.
Oh, he didn't step in because when we were in Tundra Line, was that 2013? Was that the year of Seneca Wallace?
That was the Seneca Wallace year. Yeah, no, he came back. They brought him back.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, Seneca Wallace, then it was Scott Tolzien, and then eventually...
Scott.
Yeah, Scotty Tolzien. And, yeah, then Matt Flynn.
Yeah,
So-
dude, definitely going with LSU, though.
Nope.
I also picked Zach Mettenberger up in Madden Mobile a couple years ago, and he was a G. He was
Shut the fuck
he
up.
was my quarterback for some time in Madden Mobile. So
Trash.
I'm going with LSU in this one. With
gonna be Auburn.
yeah, I think that they can tag in Jamarcus Russell for some assistance there, and he's got him on the ropes then.
Dude, Jamarcus Russell could just throw the ball further than anybody could run. Never wait.
What if Jamarcus Russell had a career in the WWE? Man,
What made you think of that?
I don't. He's just so big. I was watching some YouTube videos of him. I was watching some highlight reels, actually, to be honest with you, on YouTube. And man, he towers over some guys, and it's like I don't know. It made me think of when I was at the game this past weekend and looking at, it was the Bears right tackle Massey. He's a big boy.
Biggin.
Yeah, he's just like, he wasn't like fat or anything. He was so tall and so strong, and he looked like a real, yeah, he was a real thick Paul Bunyan ass looking motherfucker out there. And so that's what I thought of when I watched these like highlight reels of Jamarcus Russell. It's like, man, he's not like the earlier stuff, I guess. He wasn't like fat. He's just bigger than everybody else, and it's
Cam Newton was very similar in that regard. He's
Yeah.
also a very big fella.
yeah,
Auburn.
I don't know.
Auburn.
All right, we'll have to see how this shootout.
We'll have a fist fight over it.
We'll have to look up some physical stats of all these people to see how they turn out.
No. Rampant speculation is better than facts.
Okay. All right. Well,
Also,
anyway-
wait. Tiebreaker. Bonus. Of the two schools, where would Tiger Woods most likely go to college? Based on nothing.
Probably
Auburn, right?
Auburn. Yeah, I'd have to say to Auburn.
Tommy, where would Tiger Woods go to college if he went to either Auburn or LSU?
I'm gonna have to just disagree to disagree. LSU.
Ooh, he makes a good point.
He makes a solid point about the Wild Bayou women of Louisiana State University, I think.
Crawfish boil or Texas barbecue?
Barbecue.
Texas barbecue.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
What does that tell us about anything?
Tells us that I don't know. Nothing. Yeah, you're right.
What was that supposed to be Auburn versus LSU?
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything. What would they eat in Alabama? Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
So mayonnaise or crawfish boil? Crawfish boil.
Mayonnaise.
Tommy's going with mayo.
So.
So anyway, I think
In other
that'll.
words, Auburn's gonna win.
Yeah,
Hammer Auburn.
Hammer Auburn.
War damn eagle. Tiger.
War damn mayo.
Warm mayo.
Warm mayo. Anyway, I think that'll wrap it up this week for episode 2 here. Real bing bang boom episode here. We got some things to take care of here.
Shout out to mybookie.ag, the source for all your online illegal gambling or legal gambling. Baked beans.
Shout out to Bush's Baked Beans.
Shout out to Bush's Lake Beer.
Thanks for tuning in. See ya.
Go smash